Hello, this is Marc on a series of short videos that we call Politics for Dummies, and it will help you start an electoral district association, which is your clubhouse in your own town. And this first video is on why on earth would you ever want to do this? Okay, basically, it's a good question, okay? Because I had a lawyer the other day telling me that you're telling me that you want to have these people pay a 10% sales tax to the city, and because they'll get protection by the city, instead of paying 12% sales tax GST, where there's offers no protection. He says, if you don't pay that 12% GST, they're going to come after you. They're going to. And he started all this stuff, and in real terms, he's a very good lawyer, and what he was doing was playing the devil's advocate. Great, okay? But in the course of, what can I say? The biggest reason you want to start an electoral district association is because it gives you the keys to become to return to being a private individual, okay, under contract. And instead of this person under CDSA and the Revenue Canada, which is what the MMPR coalition people seem to think is so good. And you know what? If that's where you think things are so good, I wish you the best, okay? Because everything you win, we benefit from. And when you lose, we've got the best argument of why we're still open. But I do wish you the best of luck, okay? Because what we're doing is making a private individual rights under common law, and we're paying and remitting a tax to the city. And without getting into deep constitutional levels, that's why you do it. Now, the reality is as soon as you create an electoral district association, this clubhouse, that's a real, natural human being. So and once you get into it, you really will call it a paper dragon, okay? That paper dragon, or electoral district association, is actually the boss, okay? That boss orders even the chief electoral officer, the chief financial officer, and all the members. They order them what to do, okay? And in law and in theory, that EDA is an idiot savant, okay? It knows the elections code inside and out, and it tells you what to do, okay? Technically, if you ever hear the chief financial officer or the chief electoral officer saying, I want you to do this, he's not saying it correct. He should, that paper dragon over there says we've got to do this. Okay? That's a very strong legal point, because that paper dragon gets charged. Period. You don't. It's in law, it's really tight. But the reality is let me try to explain something really basic. When you're in a political party, okay, called the Marijuana Party, all these things of growing, transporting, drying, trimming, management of, traveling, doing all of these things that are called occupations under the CDSA are activities under a political party. Okay? Political parties can only do activities. Okay? And all of those things that I listed, if you're playing in the club of the CDSA, all of those things are occupations. Okay? And in an EDA, all of those activities are all of those same trades are called activities. And it's, if you're in an EDA operating the same, what at face value looks the same, the CDSA simply has no jurisdiction over our electoral districts, growing pot, selling pot, bagging pot, everything to do with pot, because we're the Marijuana Party of Canada. And on that, Blair Longley, our leader, has won the fact that, you know, when they tried to disband us, saying we're the crime party of Canada, we won. Okay? When the government said that, oh, since we no longer carry over 50 candidates, you're no longer an officially recognized party. No, we won that one too. Okay? Well, all these things that the tricks of the government to try to get around our powers, we go to court and win. Okay? And basically, what we've got is an ironclad way to collect taxes, because that guy who's in charge of the electoral district, that, you know, that paper dragon, he's going to tell you that what he wants is money. I'm not being rude. Go collect some taxes through this really bright idea that me, the paper dragon, had. You know, and I trusted on to Marc Boyer to do my bidding, or if it's, you know, Don Briere, I trust Don Briere to do my bidding on this. But, you know, the paper dragon is liable for it. In law, it works. Okay? Now, let me point out something really fundamental. This might sound like gobbledygook, okay? But back in 2005, I got busted for running a compassion club through an my candidacy, okay, well, through the Marijuana Party. And I used this jurisdiction argument. I got busted, okay? I went to the Supreme, I filed some papers immediately with all kinds of registries. I then filed this Revenue Canada thing, notice, with nice trick. And when I was busted in September. And by the time I got, it was 4/20/2005, okay? That's just the date landed, okay? I walked in there, and the judge looked at me and said, "What took you so long? We've been expecting you." And this is Supreme Court, because I'm saying I'm in the wrong jurisdiction in that court, okay? It was basically an entirely jurisdictional plea in civil court, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was the Chief Justice of BC sitting on that bench. And he starts the thing by going, "What took you so long? We've been expecting you." And I went, "Oh, I had to get these papers together." And I started explaining how, you know, I tried to fill these Elections Canada forms, or Revenue Canada forms, and all of these things are activities, or occupations, and we don't do occupations. So all of them are activities. So he said he wouldn't give, you know, couldn't give me a license for like 10 different reasons. And I kept asking him, "Would you put it in writing?" And he wouldn't. Okay? So I filed this notice with them, which I had to wait 90 days. And after 90 days, I filed with the Supreme Court of BC Civil, saying the tax department hasn't answered the question. Would you kindly answer the question? You know, I'm doing activities. They're doing occupations, and a political party cannot be occupied by the economy, was basically my gist in there. Okay? We are not to be occupied. We do activities. We protect human rights. Okay? Now, if you think that's a blasé argument, Chief Justice Brenner, in about two and a half hour session of this, howled on my last argument, just like a lion, and said, "You're going to the Supreme Court of you're going to the Supreme Court of Appeals on that one." Okay? And I looked at him and says, and basically we were arguing a charter argument, saying that our charter, you know, all our rights were given by God. Okay? And God was supreme. And in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it was a trap just like the Communist Manifesto was, where the Constitution looked so great. But the powers were given to the court to determine what our human rights were. And, I've done a lot of research on this. And you've got to look at the fact that the courts in Canada, just like the courts in Russia, just like the courts in China, just like the courts all over the world, are gradually nibbling away at our human rights. And we literally have become what Jefferson called a mere automatons of misery. Because 40 years of chiseling it away, there's a 20-year-old, or my son, who's like 25 years old now, has never known freedom. He thinks this is the way life was. Okay? Now, we're restoring private individual rights. Okay? It's really important. Okay? It's really, really important. No, get back to that. The reason I wasn't going to file my Court of Appeals with the Court of Appeals is that I would have had to beg for God-given rights of being a free man on the land. And by definition, they were going to steal that from me. Because I asked for it. I really am a free man on the land. Okay? My dad fought in World War II and gave me an inalienable right to not be responsible for the war debt. I happen to be less than 50 people in the whole Commonwealth have this status. And I was not giving it away at that court. It took me 7 years of court battles to finally get it recognized in Ontario through a backdoor, and by filing against the chief electoral, the chief, the Attorney General of Ontario, while there was an election writ dropped because he didn't have the authority to block my case. I've done that several times. File papers while there's an election writ of a city, province, or a fed, because technically the rule of law is supreme. Okay, while the writ's dropped. It doesn't work, okay? They're corrupt. Basically, the only way around the corruption is to become a private individual again. They stripped it from us with the Charter. It's the first thing the Charter did was strip us of private individual rights in 1985 under the 1985 Bank Act and its sunset provisions. Okay? So basically, if you think you want to take the easy route and follow the government and pay taxes to the feds, we think it's a real easy route to do this through an EDA. And we know that the city really despises, hates the new MMPR program. They've said so publicly. They will not enforce it. And you know what? Unofficially, we've been told that the city will gladly enforce our EDA members, people who join us, because it really is bulletproof. We're regaining private individual rights, and buying, selling, smoking, doing anything in pot is incidental to the powers that you get from being in an EDA. Okay? On that, thank you very much.